She ordered $150 on their first date. Was he supposed to pay? She said, I don't. On the first date, because I don't want this relationship to be based on sex. I have a lot going, and I'd hate to give myself to you and never hear from you. Then ordered $150 worth of drinks and food, and he only had mozzarella sticks and 2 beers. I don't pay on the first date. I don't want this relationship to be based on me paying for things. I got a lot going on, and I'd be really upset if I used my hard-earned money and paid for this and never heard from you again. She assumed he might get the idea, so she set boundaries. And he assumed she thought he would pay, so he set boundaries. So he was passive-aggressive because he was denied the opportunity for sex. She set a boundary at the beginning. He didn't set a boundary, he used her boundary to be passive-aggressive. If she hadn't racked up a bill, he probably would have paid. Your homie needs to grow a pair and say something while she was ordering. Not after the bill comes. He should still to dating chicks from the hood. This is annoying, and I don't even believe this story. Why is this even up for a debate? He asked her on the date, pay for the, and stop being difficult. They are both weird. The end. Yikes, she definitely dodged a bullet. Good for her. You're making it about the amount, but based on his response? Dude is just petty and immature. I wouldn't run up a bill like that. But I also don't do passive, aggressive, petty men. I pay the entire bill and let him keep his $40. What she orders has nothing to do with if she has sex. I have had many steakhouses for a first date where they don't serve cheese sticks. Grow up. People go on dates blindly without establishing a sense of character, motives, and/or expectations. I mean, all this seems avoidable if they actually got to know each other's intentions and motives before the date. Yeah, but giving someone sex and giving someone a meal are not at all equivalent. Right, if she would have ordered like a normal, considerate person, I would have gladly got it, but she purposely went and ordered the most expensive things. No. Here, I'm good. Hold up. You on some goofy thinking it's okay for anyone to order $150 of food on a first date, regardless of what your story is. Even at 40, y'all delusional ass off. Irony is, you're the one needing to grow up and hop off the goody entitlement. Where are y'all eating chillis? $150 is dinner and 2 drinks. Don't even seem like she ordered any apps laughing out loud. You're right, it doesn't, but she can't sit here and expect him to pay for her meal, either laughing out loud. Yes, actually she can. It's a first date. I've always found steakhouses to have the best cheese sticks. If I'm at a steakhouse and cheese sticks are on the menu, I'm getting a double order with a glass of water, no ice. Just tell me what steakhouse. I'm in Los Angeles, so maybe I'm just out the loop. I have had many steakhouses for a first date. You're exactly the reason why men shouldn't pay for the lady's food on a first date. I always pay on the first date. I don't let the man know that cause I want to see the way he moves, but by the time it's time to go, I grab the check or go to the bathroom and pay it. They say I didn't have to do that. I say thank you for your company. You'll get the next one. Sometimes I never go on another date. Other times I do, and that's when I'll let him pay. I never accept a date unless I know I can cover the whole bill and then some. I love that. We all have to find our way. I love fly women. I'm male, 40 years old, and I never done that. Might have to. Oh, he didn't have any money. That's why he ordered mozzarella sticks and beer. I'm glad she provided him an out. Just a poor man trying to get. But if she did have sex with him, he'd see her as less than. Weird that. I don't blame her for not wanting to have sex on the first date. I do consider his actions to be suspect. My husband and I regularly go out to eat. Why would her date have only $40? $0 to pay for both their meals? In today's world, it automatically costs between $80. $0 to $100. $0 to eat in a restaurant. Her date never intended to pay for her meal. What kind of person wants to get laid but doesn't want to even buy his date a meal? Well, at least he identified the trash before he got too involved. No woman with any class would do that crap on a first date. This wasn't a flex. He took her on a date. Don't want to see her again? Don't. But don't claim you were taking someone out, then switch up cause you don't like how the date went. Last May, I met this girl that lived in a different state and we spent the entire weekend with each other. One night I asked her, "What are you craving?" I was ready for her to say something a bit on the pricey side of the spectrum, like sushi or steak. She's like, "I want a cheesesteak and fries." About to propose to her next week. This is lame. That's why she said that. They're both right unless something else was agreed upon. Don't try to take advantage of him, and maybe he will. I bet if she didn't say anything at all, he would have paid for the date. Bro, stop making up stories for likes. I feel like you really thought people was going to side your friend. $150 on a first date is crazy. On dates, I always go Dutch, so he know he cannot touch. Laughing out loud. The point definitely jumped way over your head. Yeah, like where could they even go where she successfully racks up $150 to his $40 and they somehow also serve cheese sticks? Yup. If you go out and she orders expensive, you just bail out. You just missed a turd. I'm a woman and I don't fault that man for doing that. Most men think they'll get some on the first date, and most women assume the guy is going to pay for everything on a date. It could have been the way she came off while presenting her boundaries. Like he said, sex was never brought up. And in reality, boundaries could have been set way before the date. So if his intentions were that the date would have never happened and no one's time would have been wasted. Let's assume this story is true and he's one that's asked her on a date. Let's also discuss root cause. What is the root cause for a problem? If he didn't even want there to be a chance of a high bill, then pick a cheaper place to begin with. You avoid it ever being an issue to begin with. If he goes on a date, woman who has problem with that, don't go out with her. She ain't your type. This is not a moral superiority issue for either gender. Do better from the start. You know how gay this sounds? To be so triggered that you emotionally match a woman? Whoa. So just because she said she doesn't get down on a first date, he's being petty. But if she was going, give it up, he would have paid no problem. I would have paid the whole bill and kept it moving. If he wasn't going to pay for her food, that should have been something he said after she made her statement. So they were both well aware of where they stood with each other. Him waiting till after the meal was very petty on his part, and I believe had she not said that, he would have found any and every way to pay for that food. That wasn't cute and that wasn't cool, nor was the girl for running a tab up, because not one person on this earth needs a meal over $100 at any dining industry. No need to give your body. Also, no need to order that much food. Also, no need to go on a date with only $40. If he asked her out to dinner, he should pay regardless. If she asked him out, she would pay regardless. Her only error was ordering a lot of expensive food on the first date, which isn't classy. He, on the other hand, was being petty if he was the one asking her out. He clearly was expecting sex. No one should expect a stranger to spoil them on the first date anyway. It's about getting to know each other and learning if this person is compatible. I'm afraid that you aren't getting any dates if you assume any dude will spend $150 on a woman he doesn't know in the absolute slightest. I don't even want to spend $150 on a date with my girlfriend of 2 years because it's a reckless use of money. Nothing to do with being broke. But from what I read, you make it pretty obvious you don't know the value of money. If someone on a date doesn't have the tact and etiquette to observe what the person paying is ordering and then order accordingly, like in this case, then they absolutely are taking advantage. If you're going to shame someone for their choice of cuisine, you aren't the adult you think you are. You would not do this. I don't understand people thinking a date means it's cool to order like someone else is paying. If it's a first date, who are you to assume the other person can afford your hefty appetite? I ask first. Halfsies? Who's paying? Is it cool if I get this? Are we getting drinks first? And if we're getting drinks, I'm not going to drink to get drunk. 1 or 2 drinks is good enough because I'm a responsible adult. Exactly. Women are out here expecting a free meal. It's 2025 and cost of living is high for everyone. Never show up to a first date and not be prepared to pay. If he does, lovely. If he doesn't, fair. If someone ordered $150 worth of food and drinks on your first date while you barely ate, would you pay the entire bill or ask to split it? If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe to Threads Stories for more.